I was born in a Christian home. I grew up Catholic, actually, going to church every Sunday was very normal for us. My parents were very good examples of what a Christ-following relationship looks like. So I was pretty blessed early on to have that foundation with my family. Didn't miss many Sundays at all growing up. Even when we started playing travel ball, church was always a priority in our family. So that was very good. But I still was living for things of this world and not necessarily, I didn't have a true authentic relationship with Jesus at the time. Even though I was going to church every Sunday, I was kind of living for baseball or football, whatever the case was. Like, I had different idols at the time. And then as I grew older, actually, when I met my wife, I was in the big leagues. I'd been in the big leagues for a year or two at the time and was still going to church, going to chapel. God was important in my life, but he wasn't necessarily the center. Like, I didn't have a real relationship with him. And when I met my wife, she was just on fire for the Lord and just, every day reading her Bible. Every conversation we had was about God, and we'd stay up till 3 or 4 a.m. and all we spoke about was Jesus. So she was definitely, she changed my view of it. And I was like, wow, like I got to see someone who was Christ-filled and on fire for the Lord and see how she lived and how she received. And I wanted that. So like, honestly, meeting her, him putting her in my life was life-changing for me. I started playing baseball when I was probably 5 or 6, t-ball. Yeah, just like most guys, I started pretty young. I started to realize I was better than most probably in middle school. Like, I was always a good player in Little League, but I started to really separate myself probably in middle school. I think it was, my dad was a coach, and so like we worked hard at it starting at a young age. And I would play other sports. I played football, basketball, wrestled, played tennis. So like, but even when I was in those other seasons, we would always go to the batting cage and hit. And my dad was a huge baseball guy, so he was my coach, and we worked hard. So it was probably about middle school when I started to separate myself. One of my favorite baseball memories is probably playing in the World Series. Getting to experience that, and we fell short of our ultimate goal, but still just being there and being on that stage and getting to play this game at the highest level, it was a lot of fun. My heart went from kind of idolizing the sport, and I would show up to chapel, I'd read my Bible thinking, if I do this, maybe I'll get a couple extra hits tonight, stuff like that. And it shifted into, I'm so blessed to be able to come out here, play this game that I love for a living, and the battle has already been won. Jesus has already won my battle for me. I just get to receive his grace and try to shine his light and show his love to my teammates. I'm still going to go out there and be a warrior. I'm still going to try to do as well as I can. But at the end of the day, when I lay my head down at night, like, I can look at myself and ask, like, did I glorify God today? That's what matters. Did I receive? Did I shine his light? And those things have become a lot more important than the actual results on the field. I want to be remembered when my career is over for being a great teammate, first and foremost. Like, I want people to know that I care about them and love them, and really just I want to be known as somebody that followed Jesus and tried to exemplify what he did for his glory, and really just loving on teammates and being there for them. Yeah, my advice for a younger generation would just be to chase after Jesus before you're chasing after baseball. I think if your foundation in life is baseball or anything material that is fleeting, it's not going to be good for you. And in the long run, any of those things can fade. But the one constant and the one thing that'll be here your whole life and the one true love that you'll know is going to be Jesus. So chase after that with all your heart, and good things will come from that. Not necessarily, doesn't mean you're going to make it to the big leagues, but he's going to fulfill you and satisfy you. I met my wife and just, I don't know, I grew up believing in God my whole life, so I was a Christian. She showed me what it really meant like to follow Jesus and to chase after his heart. I was kind of living more under the works type of Christianity, like I was chasing after trying to do good things so that I could reach God, as opposed to like letting him reach me and just be myself, receive the grace, and not try to chase after perfection, because I was never gonna live up to that.